Merely a few months following the astonishing pyramid revelations of 2025, our planet has received yet another Earth-shattering finding originating from Egypt. Fresh radar imaging from just a few weeks prior has uncovered a phenomenon of absolute impossibility, concealed at even greater depths under Giza, which will entirely redefine our established historical narrative of the pyramids. Initially, during April of 2025, researchers detected an entity below the Pyramid of Khafre at Giza that propagated tremors of astonishment throughout academic circles globally. Professor Corrado Malanga and Filippo Biondi disclosed radar imagery depicting coiling stairwells and enormous perpendicular channels descending more than 2,000 feet underneath Egypt's desert. These constructions, of such exactness and deliberate design, appeared nearly inconceivable to classify as mere natural geologic features. Notwithstanding this, conventional Egyptological experts, prominently directed by Dr. Zahi Hawass, promptly attempted to discount these disclosures, categorizing them simply as radar irregularities or interpretive errors. I need you to comprehend that this conspiratorial notion you possess is entirely incorrect. We are concealing nothing. However, merely weeks ago, an even more staggering development came to light. A subterranean finding that you, in truth, will find difficult to accept. Remain with us, because what has been located underneath the pyramids possesses the capacity to transform every concept we hold regarding ancient Egypt. This most recent radar survey verified the presence of an enormous subterranean system beneath Khafre's pyramid, a detailed, intentionally architected labyrinth of balanced rooms, far-reaching passageways, and meticulously fashioned voids. The intricacy and accuracy of these hidden formations instantly provoked significant inquiries. Which civilization fabricated them? Furthermore, how could a development of this magnitude stay undetected across millennia? Might this underground domain have been constructed by a society about which we are wholly ignorant? Introducing an additional stratum of mystery, an entirely independent group of Japanese scientists unearthed another enigmatic configuration adjacent to Giza's western cemetery. Employing sophisticated ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography, they detected an odd, intentionally obscured L-shaped formation entered only 2 meters under the surface. Yet there is more. Under this configuration rests something even more perplexing and expansive. Flawlessly square hollow situated between 5 to 10 meters underground. Might this represent an ancient gateway or access point to something still deeper and more enigmatic? In this presentation, we will proceed directly to the core of these novel disclosures. We will examine Malanga's pioneering conclusions under the Khafre Pyramid, the cryptic gateway-like configurations under the Giza burial site, and investigate the authentic motivations for official reluctance regarding these unprecedented pyramid revelations. A sequence that historical records demonstrate recurs repeatedly. Prior finds illustrate that this is not the inaugural instance where traditional archaeology has been swift to dismiss new evidence, only to later be contradicted. Locations such as Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe were originally rejected as unfeasible or overstated. Nonetheless, they are now comprehensively acknowledged as transformative finds. Could this sequence be repeating underneath Giza's sands? Is it prudent doubt? Or do certain influential personalities within Egyptology and even governmental bodies desire these enigmas to stay unexamined? What precisely do they stand to acquire by neglecting or minimizing potentially history-altering discoveries? The reality beneath Giza cannot remain obscured indefinitely, and the proof we are on the verge of examining is merely too persuasive to disregard. Let us delve into the origins of this entire situation. Amid the accumulating proof from early 2025, a different investigative group joined the scene, introducing new perspectives and sophisticated instruments to the Giza Desert. This Japanese team, comprised of esteemed researchers from Higashi Nippon International University and Tohoku University, initiated their own examination under the western burial ground section of the Giza Plateau. Their findings contributed a gripping additional dimension of enigma below Egypt's sands. Employing state-of-the-art subsurface radar and electrical resistivity mapping methods engineered to visualize clearly below the Earth, the team identified something unforeseen buried close to the top. Only 2 meters down, their images showed a clear L-shaped formation, precisely gauged at about 10 meters by 10 meters. This discovery proved particularly interesting due to its apparent deliberate concealment with sand, hinting that ancient peoples had purposefully obscured it from sight. The existence of this buried configuration instantly provoked captivating queries. Might this be an old entry point, a secret door, or a blocked corridor meant to safeguard something valuable? However, the element located beneath this surface configuration is what genuinely surprised the scientists. Additional imaging uncovered another even bigger irregularity situated farther below ground, around 5 to 10 meters under the surface. This deeper formation measured roughly the same dimensions, about 10 meters by 10 meters, yet exhibited peculiar traits in the radar and electrical readings. These scans pointed toward an open hollow or room under the sand, potentially containing air or lightly compacted substances rather than dense rock or earth. The investigators meticulously recorded their procedures and disseminated their outcomes in a comprehensive scientific paper issued by the esteemed journal Archaeological Research in Asia. The article plainly outlined the find, observing that the exact forms, intentional burial, and carefully planned placement of these configurations powerfully indicated purposeful human building, not incidental geological formations. This fascinating revelation inherently ignited interest and conjecture among both academics and the general populace. Could these entered spaces belong to a more substantial complex, a concealed vault, a subterranean shrine, or perhaps an ancient repository for something precious? Why would early constructors meticulously hide these formations below strata of sand, heightening the intrigue? These finds correspond exceptionally closely with indigenous Egyptian myths and historical narratives regarding secret rooms and tunnels underneath the Giza Plateau. Accounts long rejected as mere folklore, like the earlier mentioned Hall of Records, now abruptly possessed believable scientific backing, reviving stories that had spread for generations. The research group additionally clarified that locating such a detailed subterranean network underneath Giza might profoundly alter our comprehension of history and ancient societies. Should these formations truly be human-made, which the information powerfully indicates, this would imply a society far more sophisticated than what is presently acknowledged within conventional archaeology. Even with the legitimate scientific proof offered by the Italian research group, established Egyptological experts continue to advocate for carefulness and reject additional examination of these assertions. Although prudent skepticism in archaeology is fundamentally important, this instant doubt provokes significant inquiries. What is the reason for the powerful opposition to probing these encouraging discoveries more deeply? These recent finds have plainly shown staircases, rooms, and passageways under Giza that already contest traditional historical comprehension. Regardless of whether mainstream Egyptology embraces these findings right away or not, the proof necessitates earnest scrutiny and more extensive research. Following the confirmed and amazing June 2025 finds beneath the Pyramid of Khafre, we now confront an even larger question, one that Egyptologists frequently choose to evade. Did the ancient Egyptian people genuinely construct the pyramids? Or might these astounding monuments be the creation of an earlier, lost civilization? Among the most unusual features of the Great Pyramid and its surrounding structures is the minimal amount of direct proof we possess concerning their actual builders. Astonishingly, no location inside the pyramids themselves explicitly states who built them or their methods of construction. Consider this concept. Picture yourself building something as immense as a gigantic skyscraper or a complex the size of a city. Would you not proudly inscribe your identity and techniques clearly for all to witness? However, at Giza, we encounter nearly nothing. No comprehensive directions, no building techniques, not even the name of the pharaoh who allegedly commanded their erection. The sole marking linking the pyramids to any pharaoh, specifically Khufu, is one solitary, isolated piece of graffiti found centuries afterward, completely detached from the real building era. This scenario is akin to someone tagging a structure hundreds of years after its completion, and archaeologists simply accepting their claim. To frame this differently, imagine discovering one arbitrary signature in your attic written decades after your home was constructed. Would you instantly presume that individual built your entire house? This lack of definitive evidence directs us toward a disturbing yet thrilling question. Could the pyramids have been erected by a much older, more progressed civilization that existed before ancient Egypt? This is a hypothesis that mainstream Egyptologists have persistently opposed, yet one that numerous independent investigators have attempted to examine. However, each effort to delve further into this enigma has encountered unexpected obstruction, not from an absence of evidence, but from limitations enforced by Egyptian governing bodies. In reality, the Egyptian administration has continually prevented independent researchers and global teams from studying specific theories that could dispute the accepted historical account. Licenses for thorough research underneath the pyramids are seldom approved. Moreover, when alternative researchers suggest investigations, their applications are commonly rejected quickly. This situation prompts a disquieting question. For what reason would officials limit exploration that might offer clarification regarding ancient Egypt's authentic origins? Considering the robustness and distinctness of these discoveries, a person could presume the government would promote more investigation. Yet, the precise contrary appears to be occurring. Is it plausible they already understand what is concealed below, or are they fearful of what could be unearthed? These underground rooms might possibly correlate with mythical accounts, such as the Hall of Records, a hypothesized hidden chamber referenced by both ancient writings and contemporary legends, which is believed to contain priceless insight regarding Egypt's genuine history. Could these newly uncovered formations beneath Giza actually be the Hall of Records, or at minimum a site holding secrets about who built the pyramids and their methodology? There are reasonable explanations for why the Egyptian government and mainstream Egyptologists might experience unease with these discoveries. Egypt's financial system depends substantially on tourism fueled by established historical accounts and the grandeur of its ancient heritage. Contesting the traditional story that the Egyptians built the pyramids approximately 4,500 years ago could considerably disturb tourism and national esteem. Furthermore, if it were verified that an advanced pre-Egyptian civilization was accountable, it would revise educational texts, reshape Egypt's historical inheritance, and provoke deep questions about the history of human civilization entirely. Could investigating these chambers ultimately provide a definitive answer regarding the pyramids' builders and reform history as we understand it? Contributing to this situation, past disclosures demonstrate that new archaeological revelations frequently encounter initial opposition before gaining eventual acceptance. The persistent reluctance to permit open inquiry at Giza only amplifies public curiosity and suspicion. What precisely are the authorities worried about discovering? Is it simply the protection of a national historical narrative, or could it be something more substantial? The possibility exists that these buried tunnels and rooms hold not just architectural secrets, but also technological or historical knowledge that would fundamentally transform our perception of ancient human abilities. Every new radar scan and subsurface image delivers more compelling data that something extraordinary rests under the sand. The symmetrical precision, the immense depth, and the clear artificial nature of these formations cannot be easily dismissed as natural caverns or insignificant anomalies. They indicate planning, engineering skill, and a purpose that modern science is only beginning to perceive. The continued official hesitation, contrasted with the growing scientific evidence, creates a conflict that grows more intense with each passing month. Therefore, we are left at a crucial point. We possess credible scientific information pointing to a vast, unknown complex beneath one of humanity's most studied sites. Simultaneously, we face a wall of institutional caution and bureaucratic denial. This divergence between discovery and disclosure forces us to look beyond the standard explanations. It invites us to question not only who built the pyramids, but also why the complete story of their origin remains so heavily guarded in the present day. The search for the true architects is, therefore, also a search for truth in our own time, confronting the forces that decide which histories are told and which remain buried. It was May of the year 2025. The day was intensely hot upon the Giza Plateau when Professor Corrado Malanga, Filippo Biondi, and their investigative team once more astonished the entire world. Their most recent radar surveys underneath the pyramid of Khafre had uncovered something even more exceptional. An immense concealed network showcasing colossal rooms, elaborate tunnel arrangements, and meticulously built spiral stairways extending far below the sands of Egypt. These stunning new revelations, more distinct and detailed than any prior, instantly revived debate and contested every concept we believed we understood regarding ancient Egypt. These new scans did not merely display ambiguous forms or dubious signals. They exposed a distinctly outlined subterranean formation resembling an underground metropolis. Radar pictures showed huge vertical shafts dropping down vast chambers, precisely aligned passageways, and staircases curling deeper under the ground. The most shocking aspect of all was the profound depth. These formations descended to an amazing 2,100 feet underground, roughly twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. The radar imagery plainly disclosed symmetry and purposeful design, powerfully suggesting these formations were deliberately crafted by human hands. Some of these chambers were immense, measuring about 80 meters across, equivalent to an Olympic swimming pool or a sizable urban structure. The existence of linked tunnels, spiral staircases, and intelligently designed floor plans strengthened the notion these were not natural configurations, but instead a deliberately constructed subterranean network. When Malanga's team shared their results, the find rapidly attracted global notice from news organizations, archaeologists, and the general population. Many scholars recognize that these discoveries, if verified, might profoundly alter our present knowledge of ancient history. One especially notable detail from the documentation was unmistakable proof of spiral staircases going further underground, which implies advanced building techniques exceeding what mainstream Egyptologists usually think ancient Egyptians could achieve during that era. Nevertheless, these thrilling revelations swiftly generated dispute. Despite the compelling radar proof, some mainstream Egyptologists responded with doubt. Notable among these detractors once again was Dr. Zahi Hawass, along with several other established archaeologists. They publicly rejected Malanga's new and enhanced May 2025 findings as overstated, unconfirmed, or simply not possible. They claimed these radar pictures likely represented natural geological features, or that the information could have been misread or misunderstood. Yet, the radar outcomes were clear, thoroughly recorded, and cautiously verified multiple times. Malanga's team performed many radar surveys, confirming their results using various kinds of equipment to guarantee precision. Their methodology was open, meticulous, and scientifically comprehensive. Still, mainstream Egyptologists rapidly attempted to downplay or reject the discoveries. This prompted a significant question. Why were these archaeologists so hasty to question or deny these findings? In comprehensive statements covered by international media, Malanga explicitly clarified the importance of his team's discoveries. He stressed their careful procedures and noted plainly that these underground formations could not reasonably be natural configurations. As he expressed in his report, the information clearly shows large human-made chambers and tunnels far beneath the pyramids. This is not geology, it is architecture. It is April of the year 2025. Envision yourself positioned upon Egypt's legendary Giza plateau. The scorching desert sun radiates intensely downward as the renowned pyramids loom around you. Now imagine you are a member of an investigative group performing scans below these age-old monuments, uncertain of what you will locate. Abruptly, the radar display illuminates, uncovering something totally unforeseen under the Pyramid of Khafre. This is precisely what transpired in April 2025 when Professor Corrado Malanga and his team initially publicized results from a comprehensive ground-penetrating radar examination beneath Giza. These preliminary accounts, swiftly circulated by global news outlets, concentrated on 4 perplexing spiral-configured formations identified far below ground adjacent to the Khafre pyramid. Upon initial observation, these coiled shapes were bewildering. Their source and specific functions were ambiguous. Did they represent natural stone configurations, or were they purposely built by people? The radar imagery proposed they stretched downward, coiling underneath the plateau. This exact configuration and peculiar form instantly seized the researchers' focus. It prompted essential inquiries regarding whether these were geological curiosities or the result of ancient craftsmanship. Beyond the spiral formations, the radar indicated suggestions of possible water conduits or subterranean passageways. These water-associated irregularities ignited considerations of advanced ancient engineering, perhaps signifying that populations from long ago had devised mechanisms to control underground water. Even though these early findings were conjectural and incomplete, they unlocked intriguing potentials about deliberate underground construction beneath Giza. The prospect of concealed water networks under Giza seized the curiosity of investigators. Given that ancient Egyptians were recognized for refined water management within their architecture, archaeologists started deliberating whether, if validated, these underground water channels might transform our perception of how the pyramids were erected or what their intended function could have been. When the information became public, distinguished Egyptologists and archaeological specialists, notably Dr. Zahi Hawass, promptly reacted with doubt. His public commentary was direct. He stated that is not correct from satellite. It is not correct. So what are you asserting? That they are being dishonest here. They are being entirely dishonest. Yet if they are demonstrating using these methods things that we understand you have uncovered that definitely exist, what causes you to trust those scientists instead of these individuals from Italy? Because the scientists are scientists. Well, these are scientists too. They are not. All the individuals collaborate with me. The Scan Pyramids project. They stated that are claiming they can perceive kilometers into the earth with this equipment. That is not correct. I performed it. Are you certain? I performed it. Do you comprehend the technology? No. Dr. Hawass publicly declared that these spiral formations and possible water channels were likely merely natural geological characteristics. He proposed the radar information was possibly overstated, recommending caution and encouraging additional investigation before arriving at conclusions regarding human-made structures beneath the pyramids. Numerous other conventional archaeologists repeated Hawass's reservations. They contended that the spiral designs and radar readings might simply indicate natural rock formations or even inaccuracies from the radar apparatus. These experts reminded the populace that comparable radar irregularities in prior instances had ultimately received natural explanations following detailed analysis. Nevertheless, history demonstrates to us that pioneering archaeological finds frequently encounter skepticism prior to acceptance. For instance, when Tutankhamun's tomb was first found or when the Dead Sea Scrolls materialized, mainstream archaeology originally showed hesitation. In a similar manner, these radar anomalies under Giza confronted immediate resistance from traditional archaeologists. Despite mainstream doubt, however, the team responsible for these discoveries remained steadfastly behind their results. Professor Malanga's unit had utilized high-resolution radar technology, and their information plainly displayed these spiral formations and subterranean hollows. They stressed the necessity for further meticulous exploration rather than complete rejection. These original March discoveries also generated more questions than solutions. Were these enigmatic spiral configurations under Khafre intentionally built or merely uncommon natural features? Did these radar anomalies suggest ancient water tunnels or something completely different? At that time, researchers had no conception these initial finds were simply the preface. Shortly afterward, even more astounding disclosures came to light. Larger, more distinct, and untenable to disregard. Centuries pass. The history we currently accept often resembles a book lacking several chapters. This is especially true concerning human civilization and its genuine beginnings. When extraordinary finds such as the underground formations beneath Giza come to light, it grows more apparent that maybe we still have not completely grasped how far back complex human culture might reach. Could the enigmatic formations now exposed under the Egyptian desert be connected to progressed societies that thrived long before our approved chronological frameworks? Although mainstream archaeology offers intricate and cautiously supported historical accounts, it has been incorrect previously, particularly when confronted with revolutionary finds that reshape our comprehension of human history. A compelling instance is Göbekli Tepe in present-day Turkey. Found during the 1990s by archaeologist Klaus Schmidt, Göbekli Tepe was originally disregarded or ignored by mainstream specialists. However, as digging proceeded, what Schmidt revealed transformed our perception of humanity profoundly. Göbekli Tepe is an enormous complex made of huge stone columns and intricate carvings. What is astounding is its antiquity, roughly 12,000 years. This places its origin around 10,000 BC, an era formerly thought by mainstream archaeology to be defined by basic hunter-gatherer groups unable to perform complex building. The unearthing of Göbekli Tepe supplied irrefutable confirmation that organized, advanced human settlements existed far earlier than the conventionally accepted timeline. In more recent years, a comparable location named Karahan Tepe, situated near Göbekli Tepe, further strengthened Schmidt's revelations. Excavations there uncovered equally advanced stone constructions, sophisticated sculptures, and clear proof of organized community dating to the same ancient epoch. Both locations have compelled archaeologists globally to reconsider how early human civilizations evolved, questioning traditional hypotheses that humans were less advanced during those early periods. These revelations illustrate a distinct historical trend. Mainstream archaeology first rejects revolutionary discoveries that contradict established views, but eventually irrefutable proof compels a reevaluation of accepted history. Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, now broadly acknowledged as authentic by archaeologists worldwide, powerfully suggest that human civilization's chronological line reaches further back than formerly conceived. Considering this pattern, could a similar situation be developing now beneath Egypt's sands? The newest findings under the Giza Plateau, concealed rooms, extensive passageways, and portal-like irregularities detected by radar might signify another example of history requiring correction. Furthermore, global ancient traditions frequently talk of highly advanced civilizations that existed before recorded history, often depicted as flourishing before enormous global disasters, especially widespread floods. Ancient cultures from Mesopotamia, India, and native peoples throughout the Americas share narratives remarkably consistent about advanced societies that lived before a great deluge or catastrophe erased them. While many academics have considered these tales symbolic or mythical, growing archaeological proof implies they may hold components of historical reality. This concept receives additional reinforcement when we examine geological studies pointing to major climatic occurrences and global flooding approximately 12,000 years ago, known as the Younger Dryas period. Throughout this time, sudden environmental transformations drastically reshaped Earth's terrain, possibly affecting human populations worldwide. The timing coincides interestingly with ancient flood legends and the period linked to locations like Göbekli Tepe. Also, geological investigation on Egypt's Great Sphinx by esteemed geologist Dr. Robert Schoch strongly indicates substantial water erosion patterns, proposing the Sphinx is considerably older than mainstream Egyptologists have traditionally asserted. This proof aligns closely with the theory of a lost society predating Egypt's known dynastic history. Moreover, the debated inventory stela, a historical artifact found near the pyramids, states explicitly that the Sphinx and some other monuments were already ancient before Egypt's traditionally accepted historical timeline. While dismissed by mainstream Egyptology, the stela offers extra persuasive evidence supporting the idea that the monuments of Giza could originate from a much older, now vanished civilization. When we contemplate these historical hints together with the recent radar discoveries beneath Giza, it becomes increasingly believable that a sophisticated civilization, possibly predating known Egyptian dynasties, constructed these hidden underground formations. Such a civilization would greatly challenge mainstream archaeology's established story, indicating human history might extend far earlier and be more intricate than currently accepted. The wider consequences are enormous. If demonstrated true, these findings could propose that ancient human communities attained levels of engineering, astronomy, mathematics, and architecture previously deemed unattainable in the distant past. They might have been purposely hidden beneath Egypt's sands for reasons we still do not entirely comprehend. Perhaps for preservation, protection, or deliberate secrecy. If history truly possesses missing chapters, these recent discoveries beneath Giza could assist us in finally starting to complete the blanks. Share your opinions and hypotheses in the comment section below, and I will respond to my preferred ones.